Now it's going.
Okay.
But we gotta do the clap now.
Welcome to the Fuck, Marry, Kill Film Club.
I'm Audrey.
And I'm Bianca. We're two gals with 3 movies and 1 final verdict. Stick around to find out which one of your favorite movies we would fuck, marry, or kill.
This is episode 2, Animated Underwater.
Great.
This month, we're watching Finding Nemo, a 2003 film produced by Pixar. Directed by Andrew Stanton and starring Albert Brooks, Ellen DeGeneres, Alexander Gould, Willem Dafoe. Okay, wait, I'm sorry, I'm messing this up.
You're fine.
Do you want me to do it again?
Just try it again.
Okay.
Just one more time.
The whole thing. Okay. This week, we're watching Finding Nemo, a 2003 film produced by Pixar and directed by Andrew Stanton, and starring the voices of Albert Brooks, Ellen DeGeneres, Alexander Gould, and Willem Dafoe.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And we're also watching Shark Tale, a 2004 American computer and... We're also watching Shark Tale, a 2004 computer animated American comedy film. This was produced by DreamWorks Animation and was directed by Vicky Jensen, Bibo Bergeron. Literally, this film contains an ensemble cast including Will Smith, Renee Zellweger, Angelina Jolie, Robert De Niro, Jack Black, and Martin Scorsese.
And finally, we're watching the SpongeBob SquarePants movie, produced by Nickelodeon and directed by Steven Hillenburg, the series creator of SpongeBob. And it stars the voices of the regular cast of SpongeBob, as well as Alec Baldwin, David Hasselhoff, Scarlett Johansson, and Jeffrey Tambor. And it's about SpongeBob.
It's timeless classic.
This episode is brought to you by...
I'm ready to be under the sea.
Woohoo!
What is this called?
The Ocean Man. Refreshing.
Is it? Okay. Alright, let's get into it.
So first up, Finding Nemo. What a journey.
Yeah.
What an emotional ride.
I think you mentioned this while we were watching it. It's like, we just have, like, I am not emotionally mature or developed enough to be able to both know the consequences of losing a child, but also, like, coping with the fact that it's a fictional story.
Right. Well, for sure, because, that opening scene, I mean, what the fuck?
I don't know. It was emotionally exhausting, like the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, but, I mean, it paid off. I mean, they built you up for something really beautiful and rewarding at the end there, and I think it's so powerful, the story of that father-son love.
And one of my favorite things about this movie is just the work and care they put into making it humorous for the parents that are taking their kids to watch it. Like the shark rehab group,
right.
The shark AA group. What's their tagline?
Fish are friends, not food.
When that played, like, I mean, obviously that was a familiar tagline that we've heard 1,000 times, but after years of not watching this movie and watching that again, I was like, as an adult who now is, like, very aware of, like, addiction and like resources for addiction and all of those things. Like they fucking threw that shit in. They threw all that whole dynamic just as a joke in this children's movie where like I'm sure all the parents were just like either like, oh, this is fucking rad and realistic, or they were just like, kids don't need to know about rehab, but also like whatever, kids should know about rehab.
I think one of the things you're saying is related to one of my absolute favorite things about the movies is like, right, the group of sharks, they were in rehab for eating fish and they had that distinct kind of personality and story, and every single type of fish in this movie is so distinct and so recognizable as like a character, you know, like of course the turtles are like surfer bros, you know, and then the minnow who give them the directions, that, and it's all so funny, and each new fish and each new like scenario is just like better and funnier and more like specific than the last. It's so good.
And the way you phrased it, the ragtag group of fish that helps Nemo in the dentist's office.
How fun. They're all so lovable.
Who voiced the super jaded fish?
Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe.
Of course, right? Okay. Willem Dafoe was Willem Dafoe fish.
Okay.
And another great thing that this movie does, and we'll be getting more into this when we discuss Shark Tale. The fish have fishy features. They look and
they
move
look like fish.
And act like fish.
Yeah. And I remember watching the movie and learning more about fish.
Yeah.
Like learning that clownfish live in sea anemones, and like it's actually like accurate, and you learn about what's the current?
The East Australian current.
The East Australian current, and you learn about how seagulls are hilarious and
like we referenced at the beginning, just what an emotional payoff. I mean, I was shedding quite a few tears.
You'd cried.
I cried a good amount, but it's so heartwarming.
Yeah.
And just what really got me, and we both love this, I know we were talking about it during our viewing, is the relationship between Dory and Marlin is so pure and so wholesome, and that's what really gets to me is how good of friends they are, and just that platonic love is so important.
It was, that was really nice to see, because even at the age that movie, what year did it come out?
2003.
I was 7. No,
I was 6.
You were 6. How much older am I?
What year were you born? You were 10.
I was 10.
3 to 3?
I didn't.
That's okay.
Yeah, I don't know what my point was with that now that we had to do all that math. You know, all the movies I watched growing up, and they were always centered around, you know, shipping two people and like them ending up together and yada yada yada. Romantically. And so I was fully expecting Dory and Marlin to end up together, but they didn't do that in this movie, which I really like, because aside from the fact that Ellen DeGeneres does Dory's voice or whatever.
Fuck you, Ellen.
Great. So regardless, the relationship between Marlin and Ellen DeGeneres, that Dory. Is, you know, platonic, and it's great, and they both grow from it, which is the character development I am looking for, especially with fish.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's when I started really bawling like a baby, was when Dory gave her whole speech, and she's like, I always forget, but I remember with you. Like, it's just to your core. To your core, it hits you.
Yeah. Really, really beautiful movie. I mean, I'm just keep on thinking about different characters in the film that I really enjoyed, like Nemo's teacher, the stingray, and just the dynamics there. Even the parents of Nemo's like schoolmates. I like that they were all men dropping off their kids. They were like, and you know, obviously, like, I think seahorses carry their
babies.
Yeah, and I think that's like a nod to kind of the way that fish work. I don't know the dynamics of fish, but I think that's another tie-in, right, to like actual science and all that, which I really enjoyed, that they really took it seriously and put work into framing this this fictional story, you know, with as many realistic attributes that they could.
Absolutely.
The only thing that I think they missed was that the jellyfish didn't have like.
They didn't talk.
They didn't talk and didn't have like they were not personified. The jellyfish were not personified. So that was the only fish group that I noticed didn't have that. But I mean, they played an important role in the.
But I wonder, you know, of all the fish we met, jellyfish are the only ones without eyes and mouths. You know, traditional eyes and mouths.
Do starfish have eyes and mouths?
Is there an agenda against jellyfish?
We're gonna fucking find out.
I was head over heels for this movie. I think it's great for children and parents alike. As good as it is now as it was then, if not maybe even better.
Timeless.
It will be for years to come. Yeah. Finding Nemo is definitely one for the ages.
Yeah.
I laughed. I cried. It moved me, Bob.
It was a great start to this trilogy. Not trilogy, but the 3 movies that we watched during this time. You know, it made me feel good. It's like it's a wholesome watch.
Absolutely.
Up next, Shark Tale.
All right, so Shark Tale. Garbage ass movie.
Garbage ass fucking movie.
Absolutely a waste of our time.
A waste of Will Smith's time.
A waste of Renee Zellweger's time.
Angelina Jolie does not have the time to be in that kind of movie.
In the same comparison that I would say Ants, also produced by DreamWorks, and Bugs Life, produced by Pixar.
Yeah.
Bugs Life is just like the better movie. Bugs Life is just a better story and holds up so much better than Ants. But Ants has this really, really like well-known celebrity cast, and they kind of try to rely on humor within that really well-known cast for a lot of stuff. And I would say I feel a really similar comparison can be made between Finding Nemo, who has, you know, some big names for sure, but Shark Tale it's packed with stars.
It definitely, that's its crutch for sure.
Yeah.
Is like the cast, because you see Will Smith on there, you see Angelina Jolie, you see Renee Zellweger,
Robert De Niro,
like fucking Martin Scorsese
is voice acting for some reason.
For whatever reason, and then you're like, this is gonna be a funny, good movie, and it's not. It's fucking not.
It's just not.
It's not. And like, I feel like they really like leaned on the characteristics of these actors as actors and the characters that they play. For example, I mean, I made this comparison, you didn't see it, but I thought like Will Smith's little fish character tried to kind of emulate some of the Hitch stuff in that movie, and some similar things. You know, they ended the movie with like a dance group thing, music, and that's how they ended it. Hitch, and like there was a scene of his little fish character in his apartment, like fake apartment that, you know, and I just like saw that like mirroring the types of characters at the time that Will Smith was playing,
right?
And it's just it felt cheap.
Yeah,
it felt very cheap.
Well, yeah, and because we also noted about the animation, like Will Smith looked like Will Smith like face swapped with a fish.
Yeah,
you know, and it didn't look like a fish. And
all the fish looked like this.
All the fish in all of Shark Tale look like humans. They have the features of their actors, and they have digits, and they walk.
It was so weird. They had hands. They had fingers that I just like.
Yeah, and their whole world was like, they had a society built of like towers and billboards and television, and there was Katie Couric fish. And
no creativity in terms of trying to build those things out of the natural resources of the ocean, the way that, you know, Finding Nemo did. And maybe we watched it too soon after and compared it a lot, but objectively, like, there are no fucking concrete buildings under the sea.
Yeah. No, exactly.
Like and the way that they like smoked cigarettes or whatever, or like they did like fire and stuff, and not even in a funny way that SpongeBob does, where SpongeBob kind of pokes fun at itself.
For breaking the laws of nature.
But Shark Tale just like kind of does it. So it just it feels very copied from first Finding Nemo. It's definitely like, oh, this is in right now, fish are in right now, let's do that. Same way as Bugs Life
with
and Ants. But also, you know, it just like wasn't a good fucking plot or storyline. What is the story even?
It has the same problem, honestly, I think a lot of DreamWorks movies have, because I think B-Movie has this problem, where it's like, you know, Will Smith's character, who's obviously our protagonist, like, you know, he's not necessarily, you're not rooting for him.
Mm-mm.
You're just told to root for him because he's in this story the whole time, but he's rude to Renee Zellweger's character.
Mm-hmm.
He gets caught up in fame, and obviously that's the whole arc is he learns fame and loses his past, but like, you know, you don't really believe in him, and when he gets his comeuppance or whatever, you're like, well, yeah, I mean, I guess that was coming. Like, you made a mistake, you know. It's
you were like shitty.
Yeah,
and there were consequences. Yeah.
Yeah, and the growth for me is kind of hard to just be like, oh well, I don't know, you could have just not done it in the first place.
Yeah, and well, the thing he did was take credit for killing a shark, and then became really famous for being a shark slayer, and nobody questions that this scrawny ass little fucking fish killed a shark. Like,
right?
It was kind of, and I feel like at the time
suspension of disbelief, but
you know, could have come together to seem like a good film with a lot of attributes that are in and popular, but it falls flat when the story's fucking trash.
Yeah. What if this was just, you know, kind of a normal crime drama starring like all these people? You know, kind of good movie.
Like a person?
Yeah, like
take
live
out the
action.
fish thing?
Take out the whole fish part of it.
So like a human.
I mean, and then it just becomes kind of a mob movie.
Yeah.
That'd be all right.
Do you want to talk about the mob element?
Well, because this is one thing that's so mind-blowing to me. Like, the cast, the voice cast of the Shark Mafia is Robert De Niro, Martin Scorsese, Michael Imperioli, Jack Black, and Peter Falk. Like, these are some of the great crime actors of all time. Like, they're legendary.
Yeah.
And they're like these goofy-ass sharks. Like, with fingers. With sharks with fingers.
Yeah, do the sharks have fingers? Oh,
I'm pretty sure everyone has fingers.
Everybody has fingers in this, and this is the biggest thing I have a problem with, is that they have, like, their fins, like, their full-ass fins, and you're expecting them to end at a point, and then they just full-ass have fingers and digits, and they're just, like, grabbing stuff with them, and I'm just like, that's not how it works. I don't see.
Well, and you referenced it earlier, how cheap were the music scenes?
Oh,
like
very
the car wash
Well, they were
scenes.
just trying to fill it up. How long was the movie? Like
an hour and a half.
An hour and a half.
Even,
I think they were just trying to fill it with like some fucking, you know, lights, streamers show bullshit.
This, Finding Nemo is a wonderful experience for everyone. This is a sit your kids down so they can shut up for an hour and a half.
Yeah, you make your kids watch this movie when you hate them.
Yeah, and then you like need to get something done, and you just need to have them be occupied for a while. It's a distraction at best.
There was a scene where this like mob family is at a fucking fancy like Italian underground under the sea restaurant, which again, none of it makes sense. They were all drinking wine, and then well, the thing is like they're drinking wine in the scene, and then later in the movie they address how like they can't pour water under the sea because one of them tries to pour coffee and like it didn't work, and then he was surprised it didn't work, which means that their reality is not consistent, and that's probably why they all suck.
It's because Shark Tale is flitting between different dimensions. And can't hold on to any laws of physics.
So, I would take what I can get too. I'm actually on Will Smith's side now.
Okay. I mean, I'm on Renee Zellweger's side because she's never hurt anyone and just gets fucked over by everyone.
And then Angelina Jolie's fish. She was just like a gold digger in the term that at that time that was used. And quick side note, I used to call myself that when I was 10 because I thought it was a fun nickname. And I liked the color gold.
I mean, is that not my plan right now?
We don't need to get into that. Yeah, it just
I have nothing more to say.
I have nothing more to say. I'm exhausted even thinking about it.
My second note is this is pretty embarrassing. And that was like 15 minutes in, and it didn't really do anything to redeem itself, so...
It's an embarrassing movie. I was embarrassed watching it. Embarrassed talking about it now.
I think we should move on. The SpongeBob SquarePants movie. So I'll start here because this movie does hold a very near and dear place in my heart. I was the perfect age and, you know, in the perfect kind of demographic at the point to be like the target audience for this movie. And I think I saw it 50 plus times the first year it came out. I was over the moon about this movie. Me and all my friends were. So it was really nice to revisit it and kind of relive that experience and revisit that childhood joy for me.
Do you want to set the scene for our viewers? Thank you for sharing that with us.
Oh,
we did watch it on 420.
Happy holidays.
Well, yes. So, I mean, that was like the way we celebrate it.
Mm-hmm.
We ordered some Chinese food.
From the Fried Rice Express on 7th South.
In Salt Lake City.
One of our favorites.
I was blown away. I was taken to a different place.
I had such a good time watching the SpongeBob movie. I mean, like, talk about characters. Like, how big are all the personalities that are in this movie? And everyone's little jokes and everything. It's so much fun.
And it was, I was like expecting to be disappointed because I did grow up watching SpongeBob, and I remember when the show had a different, had a change in leadership, and it changed.
Right.
The humor changed. Didn't, you know, hit the way that it used to, and I half expected to have that disappointment with this movie, and it wasn't. It very much stayed true to the nods and the type of humor that original SpongeBob always has had. And just, I don't know what it is about that show that, like, it connects. The things that made me laugh as a kid make me laugh for different reasons now as an adult.
Right, because it's like, right, the scene right after SpongeBob finds out he doesn't get his promotion, where him and Patrick get drunk and they're hungover the next day. As a kid, I thought that was hilarious. But now as an adult, I'm like, this is so good. Like, hungover SpongeBob with the stubble and the black eye, like, it's like the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Well, and that whole scene where they do get drunk, they're in this ice cream parlor, and then in the next room, there's like a birthday party going on, like a Chuck E. Cheese style of birthday party going on, and they're at the bar, and the bartender was like treating them the way bartenders like would treat me if I was like trashed at a bar and being like, more shots, you know, like that was what they were nodding to, and it just took me because I was like, I didn't think I could relate to this,
and it's so funny, yeah, and it is. I mean, for a show that SpongeBob episodes are 11 minutes long, I mean, to jump from that to a 90-minute movie is ambitious, and they fill this. It's quite a story, you know.
And it makes sense. There's no plot holes.
No, of course not. SpongeBob knows what it's doing, and it's just so all the little, like, again, referencing kind of their place in the sea and recalling the physics of that, like the fact that the big villain, the Cyclops in Shell City, is like a deep sea diver who owns a gift shop.
Yeah.
Like, hilarious twist.
Yeah.
You know, it's so funny and so rewarding.
Yeah, and at the end, you know, there is no character development, but that's fine.
But it's confidence in the lack of character development. It's realizing that being your true self is what really matters.
And that's amazing.
We're goober rock, right? Like,
that was probably a thing. Yeah, I mean, you know, there's expecting characters to not change because they never have, right? Like fucking Bobby Hill in King of the Hill, you know, like you're expecting that, and that's fine, and that's wonderful, and we love them for it, but if they don't change and they still teach you something,
how special.
That's incredible to me. And astonished. I keep thinking about the scene towards the end, you know, the
The musical showcase?
The musical showcase, because this is where they broke all the rules. They were following the rules up until that point, because they were like realistically trying to make it to Shell City, and like found all these obstacles, and these obstacles stopped them, and then they have to overcome them, and it made sense, and no magic happened. And at the end, magic happened when SpongeBob all of a sudden is in this wizard costume and like puts on this glam rock show, and it saves the day somehow. No like tie to how it does or anything, and like usually that would upset me.
But I love it.
It was the best punchline, because it was like, there it is.
Yeah.
There's that irrational solution that only SpongeBob would and then they bring it back to Earth when he saves everything, right? They bring it back to reality. They ground us again when he's done this whole scene of him flying around everywhere, all these things, magic's happening, he's singing this amazing guitar, and then everything's solved, everything's saved, everything's good, and then he's still like hanging from a rope.
Yeah.
And then fucking Patrick walks over in like high heel leather boots and fishnets.
From the music video.
And from the music that just happened, and just like takes SpongeBob down, and then we're back to normal. And like,
yeah, there's just so much to love. I mean, we could spend all day just going over all like the hilarious bits and the jokes and all the situations, the bar, the fights with Dennis, the monsters in the trench. I mean, it's all just so wonderful.
High recommend.
I recommended the SpongeBob movie. I mean, I don't have much more to say about SpongeBob.
I don't have anything else to say either, except it's time for the final verdict.
Here's mine.
Okay.
And here's yours.
I'll read Audrey's verdict first.
Okay.
Fuck SpongeBob, marry Finding Nemo, and kill Shark Tale. Tell me about it.
Well, first off, I mean, I think from our reviews, it's probably no surprise that I'm gonna marry Finding Nemo. I mean, I was warmed and held by that movie in ways I could not have predicted, and it really just makes me feel whole, and that's what I'm looking for in marriage. So I pick Finding Nemo, and SpongeBob, while I love it just as much, its fun is a little more fleeting, I guess, and it's jokes and cartoon fun and all that.
Good for a romp.
It's good for a romp. What can you say? And then fuck Shark Tale. We know it's the worst movie. It's trash. Get it out of here. Someone needs to apologize.
Someone needs to admit that DreamWorks is just copying fucking Pixar movies and doing trash versions of them because they know that parents are gonna make their kid watch that anyway, and it's interchangeable to them.
That sucks. Bianca! Fuck SpongeBob, marry Finding Nemo, and kill Shark Tale!
I was really stressed about articulating why I want to fuck SpongeBob, the movie. I think it's because I find myself in it, and I'm a narcissist. Yeah, I think I'm a Squidward. I think I'm Squidward. I don't know, yeah. So anyway, that's, and obviously for so many reasons.
Yeah, so many reasons.
Like the rock music video at the end, like that's always...
It's got fishnet tights.
It's got fishnet tights, and and I want there to be more resolutions in the sexual tension in the SpongeBob universe.
Whoa.
Is that too much to say?
It's interesting, because SpongeBob is actually canonically gay.
For sure.
Yeah. So,
marrying fucking Finding Nemo, of course. Like, nothing. I know. Actually, watching that movie made me very fearful of having kids. Again, going back to what we were talking about, kind of as an adult watching it, I'm just like, I could not even probably have energy to search for it. I would be frozen. I wouldn't know what to do with my kid.
Yeah, how brave to go and travel the ocean.
Yeah, Marlon's. I used to think it was annoying when I was a kid. I was like, this guy's the worst. He's the worst dad, whatever.
He's the best dad.
He's actually the best dad. And he's his patience with Dory when he was frantically looking for his kid. unparalleled. I would have been like, fuck you, get the fuck out of my way. Like, you know, I don't want to deal with you and your baggage, Dory. And no, he like was patient, so that's the kind of person I need in my life to deal with my shit. And then, which I do have. So, and then obviously we kill Sharktail.
Okay. So next time, again, we're gonna ask you to vote on our next theme.
So our next two options, and we want you to choose which one we're gonna do. The first one is MCU. It's not what you think.
Nope.
And 2000s movies that shouldn't exist.
So vote in the comments. We'll also be conducting an Instagram and Twitter poll.
Yeah, and if you don't follow us on Instagram yet, that's totally normal. It's our second video. Don't feel bad. But
please follow us.
Follow us on Twitter, Instagram,
TikTok.
We need to post on there.
I post on TikTok. I have.
Oh, I don't think I follow us. Yeah, we're FMK Film Club on everything. And I think that's that. Thanks for watching and happy watching.
2 hours later.
Ocean man, take me by the hand, lead me to the land that you understand. Ocean man.
This is not a real song.
No, it's like from.
No, keep going. I mean,
It's not a real song.
No, it's like from the credits of.
keep
Finding
it going.
Nemo.
Just keep singing to it.